removed his red robe. He wore yellow cotton trousers and green silk shoes. Because he was as thin as a whipping post, his ribs stuck out. Eunuch Chang turned his back to the boy and reached over his shoulder to pull aside his queue. I served in the summer palace, guarding the morning door, the eastern entrance to the Empress Dowager's chamber. The chief eunuch found me asleep there one night, sitting on a porcelain chair instead of standing at the door. He ordered a punishment called raising the scabs. So many scars covered Eunuch Chang's back that it resembled a tray of noodles. I was striped 100 times with a bamboo rod. A doctor then tended to the wounds with alcohol and salve. 3 days later, another 100 blows were administered to my back. Raising the scabs is what happens when a boy is disobedient or fails in his duty. The eunuch slipped the robe around himself. Come on, I said to sixth brother. The boy breathed deeply, then charged forward, the knife over his head, and he stabbed down with it. I half-stepped to the side, flicked his arm, and put my leg in front of his ankle. As his momentum carried him forward, I grabbed his collar and yanked him down to the mat, a maneuver I had practiced 10,000 times. I put my hand lightly at his throat. A knife coming down from overhead is lucky to find a target and is easily pushed aside, just like now. Your knife held at your belly will find your enemy's vital organs. I released his neck. The boy jumped up to his feet, the knife still in a hand. I don't have any enemies. My enemies are now your enemies, Eunuch Chang said. And I have many. The eunuch's home was west of Chungking's old town. 1,000 years ago, a Tang dynasty poet had written that 1/6 of a property should be for the home, 1/3 for bamboo groves, and half for ponds. Eunuch Chang had followed these directions to the square inch. The buildings were at right angles to each other, but the compound was at an oblique angle to the Yangtze, far down a cliff below, just as the geomancer had instructed. The Huaying Mountains rose beyond the river, forbidding granite peaks that seemed to fall straight to the shore. Chungking is built on a hill where the Jialing River meets the Yangtze. The city is too steep for automobiles and bicycles, and many Chungking streets end at precipices, the river far below. The eunuch, and every other Chinaman I ever met, believed in the importance of walls and their proper placement, and the compound was surrounded by 10 feet high plaster and wood walls with glass shards protruding from the top. Gate gods were painted on the front gate, and imperial regulations had forbidden a gate wider than one span, about 3 yards, so the gate was narrow. The last Chinese dynasty had been overthrown in 1911, but Eunuch Chang still followed its mandates. Just inside the portal, a spirit wall blocked the view from the outside and prevented entry by evil spirits, who cannot turn corners. When walking to and from the gate, we always went around the east end of the portal because the west end was booby-trapped, which the eunuch said provided a 50% chance of catching someone trying to sneak in the front gate. The House of 8 Orchids had been placed in Chungking by a geomancer so that its courtyards and parks and buildings could not be seen from any nearby high point. The eunuch didn't want anyone spying on him. The only promontory visible from inside the compound was Shi Shan, a granite knob a mile west of town. The eunuch dismissed sixth brother, who handed me the knife and hurried through a door to the kitchen, and stepped toward the west wall, where my brother William was at work. I don't see any progress, the eunuch said. A white smock flecked with orange and brown paint covered William's shirt and trousers. William gestured with his palette. 3 more rebels today, on the riverbank. The paint is still wet on the one nearest the pier. William's 6 by 8 foot canvas had been brought up